Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. On February 14th, an incident occurred near Taiwan's outlying island of Kinmen, where two Chinese men drowned when they were chased away by a Taiwanese marine patrol vessel for trespassing. The incident soon heated up, and by yesterday, February 19th, China had sent 4 marine police vessels to patrol over near Kinmen, saying that patrols in Kinmen waters would become normalized. Does this mean that war will break out in the Taiwan Strait? What are the new changes in the CCP's policy towards Taiwan after the Taiwan election a month ago? Today, I will discuss these issues and reveal some exclusive internal information on Xi Jinping's new Taiwan directives. So, make sure you stick around till the end. On February 14th, an unnamed Chinese vessel entered restricted waters around Kinmen and was chased by a Taiwanese maritime patrol vessel. 4 Chinese crew members fell into the sea during the chase, and 2 died. The other 2 were rescued. This is a video released by the Taiwan Coast Guard. Taiwan's Coast Guard said that the vessel that entered restricted waters had no vessel name, no vessel certificate, and no port of registry. Such vessels are the common objective of concern for the coordinated law enforcement of both China and Taiwan, and both sides will step up the banning of this type of vessel, and the Taiwan side expressed deep regret over this incident. The CCP's Taiwan Affairs Office first strongly condemned the incident and then sent a scientific research vessel into the waters of Xiamen and Kinmen, claiming that there is no such thing as Taiwan's so-called demarcation line and that Taiwan, Penghu, Kinmen, and Machu belong to China, and then a large number of manned fishing vessels entered the waters to conduct so-called fishing operations. In addition, the Fujian Marine Police Bureau said it would conduct routine patrols in Kinmen waters and immediately sent 4 marine police vessels to patrol near Kinmen yesterday. This is an animation made by someone in China, proudly demonstrating the strength of the People's Liberation Army and its resolute determination to defend China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. In addition, 6 CCP Marine police officers also forcibly boarded a Taiwanese yacht yesterday and conducted an inspection for about 30 minutes, causing great concern among the tourists on board who thought they would not be able to return to Taiwan. From this development, the CCP has made it clear that Kinmen waters will be under the control of the CCP from now on, not Taiwan. If Taiwan backs down, the CCP will gain de facto jurisdiction and sovereignty over the waters, and if the Taiwanese side doesn't back down, then be prepared for further escalation of conflict between the two sides. Today, February 20th, Taiwan drove away a Chinese Coast Guard boat in sensitive waters near Taiwan-held territory and protested the boarding of the Taiwanese tourist boat yesterday. So clearly, the tension is growing. I have talked about the possibility of the CCP creating a conflict in the Kinmen and Machu areas in order to bring China into a state of war in my February 1st program, and I didn't realize that so soon there would be fatalities in the Kinmen area. So, were the people who entered the waters of Kinmen really fishermen? In fact, it is doubtful. Jiang Feng, a Chinese commentator with more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube, said that this is not the season for Fujian fishermen to catch this special kind of fish called Angralis japanicus, and the two men who survived reportedly spoke with a Sichuan accent, and he believes that the speedboat was not owned by Fujian fishermen, but was more likely to have been special agents of the CCP who were there to cause trouble. In addition, after the four so-called fishermen fell into the water, they were found to be unable to swim. And although the Taiwan side immediately went into the water to conduct a search and rescue operation, two of them eventually died. Let's take a look at another video. Well, the footage shows a Chinese boat forcefully and deliberately ramming a Taiwanese Coast Guard boat, literally ramming it on purpose, deliberately provoking it. This video was recorded from a mainland social media site, so the pop-ups are full of messages from netizens watching it, all of them applauding and praising the Chinese fishing boats' ramming behavior. Some saying, "Great job," some saying, "Ram them to death," and some saying, "Your dad is forever your dad," meaning that China is Taiwan's stand of, and of course, the dad is always better than the son. It is not clear in which year this video was taken. In the video, there's only the date, March 16th. It could be a video from a few years ago, but after the current Kinmen incident, this video started to circulate online again. It is worth noting that this video was first released by the official account of China Usenet, which is the official website hosted by the Central Committee of the CCP's Youth League. So this is a video by the official to show off the provocative behavior of this Chinese boat. This shows that the CCP's intention to stir up trouble in this area has been going on for more than just a few days. So, what will happen next? To answer this question, let me share two pieces of inside intelligence. The first piece of intelligence comes from Yuan Hongbin, a former law professor at Peking University. According to him, on the third day after the Taiwan election, i.e., January 15th, the CCP held an internal meeting with leaders of the United Front Work Department, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the International Liaison Department, the Ministry of Public Security, and the Ministry of State Security. Xi Jinping gave a speech at the meeting entitled "Abandon Illusions, Prepare for Struggle, and Complete the Great Course of Reunification of Our Motherland." The main points of his speech were: first, he emphasized his earlier judgment of the East is rising and the West is declining, arguing that the conflict between the U.S. federal and state governments over immigration has begun to evolve into a national crisis. The clash between the Democrats and the Republicans have risen from the level of national policy into a deep, irreconcilable ideological duel. And after the U.S. election in November this year, the U.S. society's political and ideological divisions, various ethnic clashes, the conflicts between the federal and the state governments will enter an explosive period. Moreover, it is unlikely that the various divisions within the United States will be appeased in the short term. This will significantly reduce the U.S. government's political and military capabilities to intervene in the Taiwan Strait situation. Therefore, Xi once again emphasized the need to take 2025 to 2027 as the window period for resolving the Taiwan issue. The second key point of Xi Jinping's speech was to emphasize the united front, one of the so-called three magic weapons of the CCP. He asked the CCP's United Front Department, the Ministry of Public Security, the Ministry of State Security, to penetrate inside Taiwan. Vigorous efforts must be made to develop secret CCP members among Taiwanese businessmen on the mainland and to improve the system of corresponding secret CCP organizations. This task must be one of the most urgent and important tasks in 2024. He said, we must strive to ensure that once a war breaks out, the secret Communist Party members and organizations within Taiwan can exert significant political influence, leading to the internal disintegration of the Taiwanese government and society's resistance will. In particular, she emphasized the need to use pro-communist figures in Taiwan's legislative yuan to cause as much difficulty as possible for Taiwan's government and administrative system, and to focus on preventing and dismantling Taiwan's strategy of national defense, autonomy, national defense by all, and the rejection of the CCP's reunification by strengthening Taiwan's national defense forces. She also called for greater support for public opinion war against Taiwan, with large sums of money going to scholars and celebrities within Taiwan who advocate reunification with China, as well as media personalities, so that they can play an irreplaceable role in psychological warfare and do their best to make Taiwanese society accept the CCP's proposal of one country, two systems. She added that there is no possibility of resolving the Taiwan issue without victory in a military struggle and a battle for reunification. So the whole party, the whole army, and the whole nation must discard illusions and prepare for the struggle, and all work must be centered on this battle for reunification. The three specific goals of struggle set by Xi Jinping are: first, activate all diplomatic energies to take the opportunity of the 2024 U.S. elections to deepen the political, social, and ethnic divisions in the U.S. and awaken the U.S. from within. Second, divide and disintegrate the relationship between the United States and the European Union. Use the Russia-Ukraine war and the Middle East chaos to deepen the differences between the US and the EU so that they cannot form a united force on the Taiwan Strait issue. Third, comprehensively and effectively strengthen political, military, economic, and diplomatic relations with Russia, North Korea, Iran, and anti-US forces in the Islamic world. At the end of his speech, Xi called on all systems of the CCP to complete their preparations for a full-scale wartime state with the US election in November this year as the deadline. The state of war should be achieved with a single command. The above is Xi Jinping's latest speech on Taiwan after Taiwan's election as revealed by Yuan Hongbin. According to Lude Media, a Chinese-language YouTube channel, the CCP has been discussing the Kinmen incident for 3 days, and the conclusion is to carry out internal subversion against Taiwan so that the legislative yuan can pressure the Democratic Progressive Party DPP authorities to force them to negotiate with the CCP in the name of the well-being of Taiwanese people. The specific tactics include questioning and pursuing the Taiwanese law enforcement officers who enforced the law in the Kinmen incident in the legislative yuan, resulting in no one daring to take actions against the illegal vessels of the CCP in the future. In addition, marches and demonstrations should be organized in Taiwan to pressure the DPP authorities and denounce the DPP government for killing people. Outside Taiwan, the CCP will organize militia boats disguised as spontaneous fishermen to besiege the waters of Kinmen for a sea march. If the Taiwanese side fires back at the CCP's militia boats, the CCP will say that Taiwan attacked ordinary fishermen. If the Taiwanese side does not respond, these militia boats can simply overwhelm the defense line, after which these waters will be effectively occupied by the CCP. If the DPP authorities compromise, the CCP will gain grounds and subsequently, like with the spy balloon situation, more and more militia boats will keep storming Kinmen, and the governor of Kinmen County in Taiwan may take this opportunity to denounce the Taiwanese government, break away from Taiwan, and join China. The above information was disclosed by Lude Media. Do you think that such a situation is possible? Leave us a comment and let us know. In conclusion, judging from all the information, I think Xi Jinping's ultimate determination to occupy Taiwan remains unchanged. As for the specific question of whether to use force to forcefully attack or to dismantle Taiwan from within, perhaps the latter is a better option for the CCP. In the meantime, the CCP does need some wars of manageable size in order to bring China into a state of emergency to defuse the various crises of the moment. Of course, these are just the CCP's plans and ideas. How will the Taiwanese parties and the rest of the world respond and react? Will things develop according to the CCP's plan? Will the CCP make a mistake in the process, like the phrase lifting a stone to smash its own feet, which it often uses when attacking the United States, and cause the collapse of its own regime instead? As the saying goes, the mind of heaven is unpredictable. Perhaps we can only wait and see. Well, that's all for today. If you feel like signing up for a membership or making a donation, please visit my website at jenniferzengblog.com, jenniferzengblog.com. Otherwise, please help me spread the word by subscribing to my channel or sharing my videos. Thank you. See you next time.